my babies. Let's read. You already know Boo, and you already know Tigger. And they're going to help me read. Thanksgiving at Obaachan's. I stepped onto the dusty driveway as soon as our car stopped and headed straight for the sounds of laughter and familiar smells. Thanksgiving had finally arrived. I reached the battered wooden stairs and made my way inside. We were at Obaachan's house. Everywhere I looked, I saw old used wood. I slipped off my shoes and placed them neatly by the door. Okay. As I tiptoed into the house, the floor squeaked and groaned. I made my way to the first bedroom, peeked in, and I saw her sitting on her bed looking out the window. I knocked on the door and she turned and smiled at me. As I hugged her, I gazed at the familiar flowered pattern embossed on her cotton dress. It felt right. I saw her busudan on her dresser out of the corner of my eye, and the photograph of my late Obaachan in front of it. I breathed in the musky, sweet, and smoky fragrance that floated from the thin black burning sticks nestled in sand. But he began to cough. Gomen nasai. I didn't know what she said, but she pointed to the burning sticks. I started to cough again and nodded. She quickly put them out in the sand. Then we looked at each other and smiled. She doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Japanese, but we talk to each other. I could hear voices drifting in from the next room. Everyone was talking and laughing at once about Christmas, but I could tell Obaachan had other things on her mind. I followed her as she walked into the kitchen. The aroma of the cooking turkey and the warmth of the room made me feel content. I spied white rice bubbling on the stove and noticed that the food steamed windows as it cooked. I suddenly realized that I was weak with hunger. She handed me something. Kamaboko, she said. I took a bite. It tastes like fish, I said. She put her hands together and wiggled them, and then she said, fish? I nodded. Her head bobbed as she laughed. Ah, sakana. I spied a triangular rice ball covered with black seaweed. I looked at her. Onigiri dozo? I didn't know what she said, so I shrugged. Eat? I asked. She smiled and gave it to me. As I took a bite, I saw a red plum hidden inside. I made a face. Karai? She asked. I nodded and said tart. Tart, she repeated. Then she made a funny face. I nodded. She handed me a paper napkin, but it stuck to my fingers because of the sticky rice. We looked at each other and laughed. She pointed to the dining room, bowing slightly. Dozo, time to eat. My mom and dad, my brothers, my aunties, uncles, and cousins all sat down around the massive table. Dozo, Obaachan said to me, gesturing to the special seat next to her. My heart was pounding, and I could feel my face flush. I had the seat of honor. As I looked around me, all I could see was food. I could see the leg of the roast turkey and the back of the platter of stuffing. And I could hear my stomach growl as the butter melted on the mashed potatoes in front of me. Out of the corner of my eye, I spied pumpkin pie, my auntie's crunchy oatmeal cookies, and my favorite pink and white striped rice cakes, omanju. I decided to start with olives. When no one was looking, I put 5 of them on my fingers. Then I heard a clicking sound and saw Obaachan putting turkey on my plate with her ohashi. She saw my fingers and I thought I saw her eyes twinkle, but she didn't say a word. Instead, gohan? Rice, of course. With gravy, please. And sukemono, I pointed to the Japanese pickles sitting at the table, the yellow ones. She added peas. Yuk. When all our plates were full, Obaachan sat down and picked up her ohashi. Itadakimasu. It was time to eat. After dinner, I sat on her lap and listened to the chatter and cheerful banter in the room. The sounds of sipping tea made me sleepy. It was my favorite time. Thanksgiving at Obaachan's. The end. Don't forget to subscribe.